Yes, we are live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Carson's Table, hello, and welcome to another edition of this radio program or this podcast program. Glad to have you with me tonight. We have a very special guest in the broadcast room here at my office, the studio. Your first time seeing it. Kind of groovy, isn't it?
Excellent. It's great layout.
It's kind of fun. Joining me is Chris Marks. He is a barbecue guru. He is living the dream. And you've got a million things going on. You got Three Little Pigs barbecue and rubs and restaurants and sauces and all that stuff. You also are being taken all over the world to do some terrific barbecue classes. You helped me with one last year. Welcome to the show, man. Glad to have you on.
Nice to be here.
It's good to see you.
Nice
too, man.
layout.
Yeah, man. It's kind of a groovy little studio. So
absolutely.
And I'm beginning to live the dream. When I start to pay the bills with this, then I'll really be living the dream.
Now I'm living the dream.
Really living the dream. Let me ask you this, Chris, because and by the way, if you would like to write on the comment section of the Facebook page, please do, because we'd like to hear your thoughts on barbecue. If you have questions about barbecue, you're not going to give it all away because people pay to hear this guy speak. Oh, and Avery brought in the nachos, by the way. Thank you, Avery. We appreciate it. My daughter, Avery, I decided to bring in and make some barbecue pulled pork nachos tonight. So I hope you'll enjoy them. I always feel, I don't really get too nervous about serving food to people. And I'll tell you why, Chris, because I used to have friends who were chefs, and they were glad whatever you brought them. They were perfectly happy with it.
And so am I.
And so are you.
Absolutely.
Right, get a little closer to the microphone. And so I don't get too nervous. I mean, I think that even if you don't like it, you won't say anything. You better not, actually.
You're right.
So anyway, we brought some people. Go ahead and show the nachos there. Right? There they are. There's the nachos. And we'll be sampling those. And also, you're going to be one of my guinea pigs tonight here, because this is a food blog. It's centered on you tonight, but we are going to try the naked chicken chalupa from Taco Bell.
I can't wait.
All right. All right. That's what I want to hear. All right. If you want to write, hello, Jimmy. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Oh, eating LCs while watching this.
Good man.
Really? Is LCs?
Good friends with my dad.
All right. Very good. Well, thanks for joining us, my friend. I appreciate it. Write questions if you have any questions for Chris as the podcast progresses. And we're going to get into... the meat of grilling and smoking and all that. Let's just do the chalupa thing right now. All right? There you go. Here's your naked chicken chalupa. This is from Taco Bell. I was going to try it yesterday, Chris, because it came out yesterday, right?
Right.
And the Taco Bell was out of business, or not open tonight, or last night. So I went up there like the biggest day of the year, Christmas, and you're closed.
Really?
So, but you have not tried this yet.
No, I have not. And can we have a calorie count?
No, don't even give a crap. Here we go. Naked chicken chalupa.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what.
Hey, man.
This is the 3 a.m. after about 10 beers.
This is when you have the Uber driver take you through Taco Bell.
Absolute right.
Now, the thing about this is it is a antibiotic-free white meat chicken shell. Be better with some sauce on it. Taco Bell sauce. Have you had the Diablo?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
The Diablo. And I like the fire, too. I think it's a great idea. I know the joke is that, it's bad for you and all this. But I love fast food companies that just say F you to people who are so worried about your health and so worried about whatever. Screw you.
This is just like a chicken patty wrapped.
I like it. I think it's
great.
I think it's terrific. It would have been a little bit. I got it about 20 minutes ago, so it's not as crispy as it should be.
It's about a 10 beer and a 5 chalupa night.
I'm gonna tell you, that'd be good between 2 buns.
Yeah.
I'm going to add some carbs to it. Oh, by the way, unofficial sponsor tonight is Boulevard Wheat. There you go. Because this isn't a broadcast. This is a podcast. You can do anything in a podcast.
Yeah, these are good.
Aren't those? I think they're good. I think they're great, man. I like Arby's. We have the meats. I love that campaign. I love that Hardee's and Carl's Jr. comes up with these stupid concoctions that have 1,000 or 1,200 or 1,500 calories. Why the hell not? I love it because we have food police everywhere telling us what we should and should not eat, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm just damn done with it.
Well, you go, traveling the country, it's nothing like stopping in an Arby's and slamming down, 10 sliders.
Oh, yeah. Arby's? Oh, yeah, I haven't had those.
Oh, they're good.
I haven't had them. You know what, though? I do miss, before I get into barbecue, I do miss my White Castles. And the only thing that I regretted when I came back to Kansas City, I came back to Kansas City 2 years ago, and the damn White Castles that was out on I-70 was gone.
Yeah, our Blue Springs one.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, shut down.
Ridiculous.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. Guess what I had today for lunch?
What did you have?
I had the frozen White Castles we bought at Costco.
All right.
Love the sliders.
My son is nuts about those, man. They're not the same. They're good. They're just not the same.
I worked with a guy when I was working IT.
Uh-huh.
He was a football player for Wake Forest from Chicago.
Gotcha.
The guy would eat 20 of them in a setting.
I could eat 20 in a setting. They're not that big, dude.
Uh-huh.
I used to get 6 and an order of onion rings, cheeseburgers though, and those are that's not much. That's a Big Mac, maybe a little bit more than a Big Mac.
Yeah, pushing the 20s.
20's a little bit. You're going to be smelling like onions for a few days.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you this, Chris. Chris Marks, by the way. And by the way, make sure to check out thegoodone.com there. You see the logo. The Good One is a grill that you endorse, that is, or a smoker.
Yeah, it's a smoker grill.
And they kick ass, and they are built like a brick shit house. You can say that on podcasting.
Yep.
They are. I saw you at the American Royal. You had one fired up, the big one they do. What's that called?
The Pit Boss.
Ridiculous. How much can you cook in that thing at one time?
I think we figured out 36 butts at one time. I think we're at 30 briskets.
Nice.
300-pound hog.
Oh, my goodness. So how did you get involved with the Good One?
Well,
and they're manufactured in Missouri.
Yeah, manufactured in Gallatin, Missouri.
Gotcha.
And it was sort of a weird deal. I was working IT.
Yeah.
And I was actually working for the company, and he was sort of an angel investor. In the original Goodwin brand, he was the owner was sort of struggling, and he was a little old. He had some heart problems, and he was ready to get out.
Uh-huh.
So this guy had bought the brand.
Wow.
And found out that I was a competition barbecue guy, and he came to me, he goes, "You want a job in barbecue?" And I'm like, it took me about 3 seconds to say I was going to say yes, but then it took me like a week to.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So now you were in IT. What were you doing there?
Oh, I was a computer guy for 25 years. That's where my degrees are in.
And when did you officially say goodbye to that and move into barbecue?
That would have been 2007, wow. January 1st.
Wow. Okay, so 9 years ago, or almost a decade.
Almost 10.
Oh, almost a decade. How did you start smoking meats and all that stuff? When did you start? Why did you start?
Well, truthfully, why I started is because my dad, when he retired from Hallmark,
yeah,
my mom said, "Find him something to do, damn it." She's driving me insane.
Gotcha.
So he was a good cook, very accomplished anyway. And it just started out, and he said, I think I like this competition barbecue thing.
No kidding.
So we entered a contest in Raytown.
No kidding.
One of the original contests. And lo and behold, we had a cheap old tube smoker, the one you put together.
Yeah.
And he'd had it for a couple of years, and he's cooking, and the next thing I hear is, "Son of a bitch." And we hear a clunk. The whole back end firebox pulled through and fell off.
Oh, Lord.
Long story short, they didn't do very well.
Yeah.
He was hooked.
Yeah.
Then we started doing just from contests from then on. Then me and my mom got involved after that, and it got a little more serious.
How did you you obviously are taking in a lot of knowledge from other people. Who did you garner knowledge from? Who did you go, this guy is really good, he's interesting? Because you're one of my guys. I got a friend of mine, Meathead Goldwyn, I've learned a lot from. Who are your gurus that you originally went to and you went, I must learn from you?
Okay, really who it started it all with us was Paul Kirk.
Okay.
Good old KCBS guy. Still around, still does a great job.
No kidding.
My dad went to his class, and it just sort of started from there. He was sort of our mentor. He helped us out through the first couple of years. then after we started to win, he didn't like helping us out.
What was your biggest award? Because you started being involved with the American Royal. I was in the American Royal for the first time. What's your biggest accomplishment in the world of barbecue, competition barbecue?
Well, we're known for winning the American Royal.
Unbelievable.
So we've won it actually outright for.
How do you do that?
We don't know. We don't even think about it. We just did it. We just.
How the hell do you win? Tell me about the first time, because you're competing with 600 or whatever many experts around the world. The first year you won, how did you react? Did you expect it? What?
You never expect it.
Okay.
The first time we won was very, very, very special because my dad had passed away a month before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was sort of a very heartfelt, and
no kidding.
yeah, a month before, and we weren't even going to do it. Just weren't even going to do it. And my mom said, "Yeah, let's just go ahead and go do it." And we won the Invitational, and almost came back and won the Open on that one.
No kidding.
And from then on, we streaked it. That would have been 97. We won in 98, 99, 2000. Won the Open twice and back-to-back in 2000.
What the hell? I mean, you're like the Patriots of barbecue.
and you were pretty much treated that way too.
Oh, no shit. Yeah. I'll bet.
Oh yeah, you know.
But you were that first year you were called up and you won. Did you? What happened when you looked at your team and went, "Holy crap, we did it"?
Well, it was very, very hard for me to go up there because I mean, it was like a 10-minute standing ovation because of my dad.
Yeah.
And I remember to this day a guy named Ted McClure from PDT basically grabbed me by the collar and took me up.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you went up and you gave your speech and the whole deal.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And then when you win an American Royal, what happens after that? I mean, what about notoriety? What about building your brand?
Well, it definitely blew the brand up because the American Royal is considered the most prestigious contest in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Whether they say it's other contests, the American Royal is the one it is. Wow. Because, when I travel the world, people say American Royal, American Royal.
Yeah.
Every now and then, Jack Daniels. But, American Royal is the one that's wide open to everybody. It's a shootout. It's like a NASCAR shootout.
Let me ask you that. Speaking of NASCAR, what did you think about it at the Speedway this year?
Oh, it was absolutely phenomenal.
I thought it was freaking great. There were so many people bitching about it. It's late in October and it's hard to get out of there and all. And I thought it was glorious.
Well, I was wearing my shorts. And
listen, I liked it better than being between the two stadiums in a middle of a parking lot. I hated it there.
I did too. It was very sterile.
Yeah, and maybe one of the reasons why they canceled the parade I emceed last year and they got rid of it. It's just not a good venue. Nothing against the stadiums and all that, but this is perfect.
Oh, it was perfect.
I mean, you walk up into the grandstand and take pictures. And everybody down below. It was. I thought it was glorious. Got to meet a lot of people there. I got to meet, and I didn't realize you were so close to the Japanese barbecue team.
Right.
Tell me about those guys.
Well, the Japanese barbecue team, actually, all of them have Goodwin smokers.
Gotcha.
And they've been to the plant multiple times. They actually flew in from Japan and did my class in Branson.
No kidding.
And
you got to be committed to fly halfway around the world for barbecue.
Oh yeah, they get treated pretty well. Great people, fun people, very kind people. But just love barbecue. They have a different look at it, different way they do it. It's all about what they cook with over there.
Yeah.
And it was a good time.
What are they? This is interesting. What are they into? What do they like to cook over there? I mean, obviously you're Americanizing. You're doing brisket and you're doing ribs and you're doing butt and you're doing all that.
They're really into chicken.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they do a lot of chicken. They do a lot of whole chicken. I didn't see any turkey, but a lot of chicken.
Okay. All right. Chicken at the American Royal, they do thighs.
Correct.
Why the thigh?
Well, you can do breast if you want.
Going to dry it out or what?
No, it doesn't dry it out. It's just
why don't people like the breast thing?
Because that's what the judges teach.
Really? Okay. Mm-hmm. That's what I kind of wondered.
Yeah, I mean, we had one for years with breast until the judges started only teaching thighs.
Interesting.
And then, you watch all the shows and everybody's doing thighs and nobody's doing breast.
I could see doing quarters.
Actually,
doing a quarter with the leg.
Well, you can do halves or quarters if you cook LSB down in Texas.
Okay.
I tell you what, it's a different world down in Texas, and it's they have it together down in Texas.
Do
cook,
they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No garnish in the box.
Oh, good.
You'll cook a half chicken. You'll cook spare ribs, and you'll cook brisket, and you put it in the box.
Okay. Yeah, I was disappointed in a couple of things at the American Royal this year. Not so much the presentation with the greenery. I think it's superfluous at this point because everybody freaking does it. You know, everybody does it. But I was disappointed that so many barbecue chefs inject the brisket with a bunch of shit. And to me, it's like doping at the Olympics. I hate it. I hate that. Injecting the brisket to artificially flavor the meat is horse crap, and it should be banned. Your thoughts, please.
Well, of course, I'm a purist.
Yes.
When it comes to that. But what's happened is, again, it goes back to the TV shows. It goes back to what everybody's watching them do.
Crap.
And if you inject the brisket, the one thing I hate to do is when you cut a brisket and you see darker pieces across that brisket because where the injection, it doesn't distribute well. It's pocketed flavor.
I don't like it.
And, it is what it is. Everybody's looking for an angle. But unfortunately, in the barbecue world, if Joe Blow wins with it, now Sally Joe's going to use it. It's amazing. It's just amazing to watch.
I think it's embarrassing. I think it's insulting. I watch people make brisket. My team members, God bless them. I just was terribly upset because I didn't feel like it was fair. I didn't think it was right. To me, it would be like injecting a steak.
Absolutely correct.
I didn't like it.
Well, what you're injecting with phosphates, you're injecting with
salt,
you're injecting with powdered butter,
all sorts of soy and shit.
And again, what it is everybody's looking for that angle. But unfortunately, when somebody finds that angle, I call it the world of sameness. Yeah. I mean, you go into a judge, which I do judge, and you get a chicken thigh, all 6 of them taste identical and look identical.
I don't like it. And I had a lot of funky ass chicken thighs when I was there too. I had candied thick chicken thighs, and it was like a bad 1980s Chinese restaurant. I was just not impressed at all. I like the rub and I like the smoke.
Well, that's the purist. That's the purist, and that's when I teach a class. I teach purity. We take it back. I teach back to the ones and zeros.
Yes,
and really explain to people how you get there. And, what does barbecue really taste like? It doesn't taste like honey and butter and blobbed in sauce. That's not what it's about. It's about the smoke flavor.
Let me ask you this. Because Missouri is known for wet barbecue. They part of the Southern barbecue experience is they mop it with sauce. Do you like sauce on the side or you like the base?
I'm a sauce on the side.
Are you really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Always have been.
I don't like to soak it anymore. I used to soak the crap out of it. What I'll do now is when I'm finishing, I'll brush it with a light sauce.
Yep.
But I don't like mopping it. What kind of sense does it make to leave it on a smoker or on a grill and mop it for an hour? How much of the meat are you going to taste?
You're only going to taste the mop. That's it.
I don't like it. And I like the sauce on the side thing. I really do. Is that more of a St. Louis thing?
Yes.
It is. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about one of the things that I've been noticing, and I originally when I saw one of your posts on, I think it was on beef ribs, I said, blasphemy.
Yes.
Because beef is more associated with Texas.
Absolutely.
Why, and listen, I've made Texas ribs. I love them. Why, some of your blog posts you're very into the beef rib and you make them look so pretty and so awesome. What's great about beef ribs?
Well, the great thing about beef ribs is understand where it comes from. It comes from the plate, comes down from that front side, and so much flavor, and what it is basically, it's almost what we call brisket on a stick. And I'm able to take that beef rib and be able to cook it to where it's nice and tender, and it's got a great flavor to it because I have a lot of fat. I can manipulate that fat with the low and slow.
Yeah. But unlike like a fillet or a beef, a ribeye or whatever, you're not going to do medium rare on a rib because the rib has to be, enough that you can pull it off gently and make it look pretty. I remember the first time I made beef ribs was about probably 6 or 8 years ago. maybe a decade. And I cooked it too hot, and the meat just went, chick, and it was just this little lollipop on the end of it. It was terrible. You got to cook it like you would a pork rib.
Absolutely.
So
treat them the same way.
Two and a quarter.
Slow them down.
How long when you've got the big long beef ribs?
Well,
how long?
Well, what it comes down to is when you can buy them different configurations. It really comes down to the thickness, because you can get them from 1 inch to 2 inches thick.
Oh, I've seen some thick.
Usually about the inch thick. You're looking at about a 6-hour cook.
6 hours.
And I'm going to treat them just like a brisket. So I'm going to be running those bad boys to about 195, maybe to 200. And if I get into that 205, 210, it's going to be that soft. I want to get a little firmness, a little bit of a bite.
Like I said, I'd rather have pull off the bone than fall off the bone. I don't like fall off the bone. You can cook anything until it falls apart. My mother used to do that with green beans. She'd just boil them until they fell apart. You can make a paste out of them. I don't like that. I like to have a little pull, a little tug, a little meat between your teeth, a little floss after you're done, all that stuff. And brisket is tricky. And for the longest time, I thought you should leave fat on it.
Well,
you want to trim a lot of it off.
You want to take a lot of it down to make it manageable, because most of that fat's going to end up where? It's going to end up bottom of your smoke.
In the pan.
And the other thing about it is, if you have a brisket with a big sloppy top on it with a lot of fat, it doesn't look good.
No.
First of all, my wife's not going to eat it.
No.
So you knock some of that fat off, but what we're going to do is we're going to slow that process down with low and slow, so we're going to be able to manage, again, a lot of that fat. We're not going to fry the fat out of it by cooking it extremely fast and hard.
So if you do 225 and I've got a big brisket in the freezer, 225 after you've rubbed it, you do a little mustard on the.
I'll mustard, and then I'll rub heavy rub.
Yellow mustard,
yep.
Heavy rub. You have a thing I saw in one of your videos where you have this thing that it just goes. You punch it, and what is that?
It's a jacquard.
Tell me about the jacquard.
The jacquard we've used I actually have the original. My dad is 25 years.
Is that like a meat hammer? Or
it is like a meat hammer,
okay.
And it's got 45 needles in it.
No kidding.
So now think about what I do here is I'm going to put down a layer of rub. I'm going to jacquard on top of that rub, drive it in the brisket.
Push it in.
And then, because, meat's not a sponge.
Yeah.
So you're not going to.
It will not go into the meat if you just rub it.
Right.
That's fantastic. I need one of those.
Yeah. And then I'll put my other coat of all-purpose rub down, hit it with the jacquard, cover it back up with the Memphis rub, and I'm ready to go.
I love this. And generally you bring it up to $1.90, which for a big-sized brisket's what? How many hours?
Well, a lot of that's depending on the smoker. Usually, I can do a big brisket on the good ones. I can usually do it 8 to 10 hours.
Okay.
And I'm looking at 16 to 17s, the bigger briskets.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. All right, let me ask you this. Electric, pellet, wood smokers.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like? Are you fundamentally opposed to the electric smoker, as many are?
Well, it comes down to what people want. Okay. I'm not opposed to any smoker.
Gotcha.
Okay, but I'm a charcoal wood guy.
All right.
Okay, that's where I'm at. Have I used the others? Absolutely. Do I get as great product as I would off charcoal wood? There's no way.
Okay. How do you maintain? And I've heard the good one is great for the good one smoker is great for maintaining temperature. You don't have to babysit the thing.
Right.
Is that? Give me an idea, because I've had an electric smoker forever. Sorry.
Yeah.
But when you're using a good one and you put the wood in and you bring it up to temperature, how often you got to babysit that to make sure it's the right temp?
Well, I'll shoot you straight. I've been running one at my house. I've been running the open range out at my house for almost 3 days on testing.
Really?
And usually what it comes down to is design of the smoker. How do you design the smoker? We design our smoker from the ground up. We don't go out into junkyard and buy tubes and all this kind of stuff. When you buy a good one smoker, you buy a smoker. You don't have to buy tuning plates. You don't have to go buy gurus. You don't have to go buy blowers. The smokers work.
Nice.
What's insane is somebody who goes and drops $4,000 for one of these smokers, and then they spend another $1,000 buying electronics to make the smoker work.
Well, I that's my next thing. I've had a couple. I've got a gas smoker and I've got an electric smoker. Mm-hmm. I've got a little one that's made in Oklahoma, Cook Shack.
Uh-huh.
And they make a nice little smoker.
Yeah, they do. Really nice little electric
I call it
smoker.
R2D2.
Uh-huh.
and it is what it is, and it is what it is. And I've got a Weber outside, and I've got a gas outside, and I've got a bunch of things. And like I said, I would like a good wood smoker that I wouldn't have to babysit all the time. So it sounds like the good one's kind of the one to try.
when it comes to the design, when Landmark Manufacturing bought the brand from Asa Hart's, the guy in Kansas City, we were able to, and part of me going with Landmark was I wanted to completely redesign the Goodwin smokers because I knew what the faults were. I knew what the fixes were.
Yeah.
So they said, absolutely, let's make the best product we can make. And that's what they've done. That's the new Gen 3s.
Okay. Well, how thick's the steel on those things?
We're 3/16.
3/16. This will last you the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
It'll last you the rest of your life.
I do a lot of work down in Texas. In Texas, well, they need to be 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch.
Quarter inch?
And I'm going, why?
That's a little much.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And first of all, it's and 1/2 inch is like what they make battleship hulls out of.
And that's sort of what I was thinking too.
What the hell? Really? I don't see the point. You want to try the pork, the pulled pork nachos? They're not as warm as they were a little while ago. I made this pulled pork. I'm going to be honest. I froze it, and I made this a few weeks back, and I froze it, and then I thawed it out, and I used a sauce. I just used a basic KC barbecue sauce.
Well, the best is, the longer it sets, the better it gets.
It's all about melding, baby. It's all about melding. Your sauce is better the next day.
Yep.
Your chili's better the next day. Come on.
They're good.
Not too bad. Sauce.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different sauces. What is your favorite kind of sauce? Is it a KC sauce? Is it a Carolina mustard sauce? Is it espresso sauce? I do an espresso sauce. I've done a million. Chipotle sauce. What is your favorite kind of sauce?
My favorite kind of sauce is sort of a blend between a Kansas City and a Texas style.
Okay.
Texas is a little vinegary. Kansas City's a little sweet.
Yeah.
Meld the two.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it's a sweet little. It's a great little sauce.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I also like I like North Carolina. I like the vinegar. I'm not a mustard guy. Not a mustard guy.
I like the vinegar better too.
Yeah, the vinegar.
I don't like the mustard so much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Down even to the white sauces. The white sauces work great on chicken wings.
All right.
And that's about what I've seen the white sauce for.
As far as making your own, versus, when I go to here to Kansas City, you go to Hy-Vee and there's a freaking line of sauces a mile long.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's any shame in buying an off-the-shelf sauce. You obviously want to also make your own sauce, right?
Well, that's where we started too. We actually started with a couple different sauces, and we melded the two. Then we ended up figuring out how to make our own sauce to mimic the two that we put together. Mm-hmm. And that's very common in the barbecue. The guys don't use just one thing. A lot of them use and they'll mix and match.
What about rubs? I know you make a couple rubs. Got it featured over here on the camera. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you guys, the Three Little Pigs, have some great little rubs. Here, got several of these bad boys. This is Kansas City Sweet, which is probably what a lot of brown sugar, a lot of paprika, garlic, salt,
got regular pepper,
garlic powder, onion powder.
Typical Midwest.
Yeah. This one over here. This is a
that's the championship.
I got to try this here.
That's the big one. That one does really well.
I think you might have actually given me these. Very nice.
And the thing about the sauces, the rubs are this.
Good.
Is what it is again, as we're coming through the competition circuit, we developed multiple rubs.
Yeah.
And so we mixed and matched different kinds, and then we find the ones that we like.
Gotcha.
And then we recipe those out.
There are a lot of entrepreneurs in Kansas City. I met the guy who owns Eat. You ever had Eat Rubs? The big.
Yes.
It's just called Eat. Mm-hmm. It's got this bald guy with glasses on it.
Yeah, knowing.
I think he makes the best brisket rub.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing against yours. I don't know. He just makes a real good brisket rub. I don't know what.
Well, what you're going to notice about a lot of those rubs, a lot of them are pretty close.
Yeah, I'll bet. A lot of them are pretty close. I don't know if I do a rub. I don't think I'd want to do it. I wouldn't mind doing a sauce, and I've got a couple different sauces. I've got an espresso, like I said. I've done just a basic Kansas City, a Chipotle. I've tried messing with Coca-Cola. I've tried messing with Dr. Pepper. Nah.
No.
Espresso is great. Espresso is great for brisket. Mm-hmm. Espresso is perfect for brisket.
When it comes to trying to get sauces, these guys, it's hard. My sauces and rubs have been out now for almost 10 years. And you know what? In the last 3 is when they've really taken off.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I've worked my ass off.
I'll bet.
Getting them out in front of people.
I'll bet.
I mean, when you're doing 45 classes a year across the world.
Crazy.
I mean, it's you've got to show the people what it's about. It's real easy to promote on Facebook, put your rub, hey, you can buy my stuff. But you know what? When you're personal, when you touch it, when they get to taste it, that's what makes a difference.
How many rubs and sauces are you making now?
I make 3 sauces and 5 rubs.
Okay, tell me about the sauces.
The sauces, the competition sauce, that was my dad's.
Okay.
That was the one I was talking about where he sort of took the Kansas City and mixed the Texas.
Wow.
And
nice.
He did really well on that. And that sauce did really, really well in competition.
Nice.
The next one's the Chipotle sauce, which I'd like you to try.
I love it.
I made the Chipotle.
I love it.
And our other is the sweet sauce. It's a Kansas City sweet, and that was really made for my grandma because she didn't like anything else. But she liked that Kansas City, that original masterpiece type setup.
And you said you got 5 rubs in there for different, pork versus beef versus what?
Absolutely. But I've got an all-purpose rub that pretty much works on everything.
Okay.
And what we found out with that is we're actually using that on the brisket. I have a Memphis rub, which is a powdered Worcestershire with a white pepper, black pepper type blend, very beefy type rub.
Yeah.
And what
powdered Worcestershire?
Powdered Worcestershire.
Oh, I got to try that.
Oh, it's good. And I tell you what, you know it when we open it.
No.
But that works really well with the briskets.
I'll bet.
And then we have the sweet, and that pretty much goes across everything. But the real kicker is the rub that we made back, I'm trying to think, it would have been 90, right before my dad passed away, 96.
Okay.
And that is the touch of cherry.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So where it really came about was is we had used a rub for competition that was called a cherry rub.
Uh-huh.
Well, what happened was we could never get it after it was out. The person who, and this is the standard issue with a lot of these guys who make their rubs, is they get them out into the market, then they don't have enough money to go ahead and reorder. Okay.
Gotcha.
And that's what was happening with them. And so my mom said, I'm just going to make my own.
Uh-huh.
And it's got a powdered cherry in it.
Really?
A lot of sugar.
I can see what that would rock the pork, man. Because I use cherry wood a lot of times, and I combine it with hickory when I'm doing that.
And that's
pork.
exactly where people are using. They're using on loins. They're using on tenderloins. They use it on the butts.
All right.
Wow,
I love it.
I mean, it's the biggest seller is the touch of cherry.
I'll have to try it. I haven't had it yet. As far as wood is concerned, do you have different woods for different things? Because I do. I do pecan wood on salmon exclusively. I do a little hickory and usually pecan on brisket, mostly pecan. Mm-hmm. Pork, I will mix up with hickory and cherry, sometimes hickory and apple, sometimes apple's a little bitter. Give me what kind of woods do you use the most?
Well, the great thing, what you're talking about right there is what we should get about this hobby.
Yeah.
Is to experiment and make it you.
Yeah.
Don't make it the Joe Blow that you've seen on TV trying to do what he's doing. Make it you.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about woods, and that's what I'll preach in a class is I'm a cherry guy.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm a cherry guy is because we had a farm down in Buckner, Missouri. Guess what we had a lot of? Wild cherry.
Oh, yeah. I'll bet.
Okay. So
yeah,
that's one reason I still use a lot of cherry.
Sweet.
But I'll use the cherry primarily pork. When I do go to the brisket, I'm more of an oak.
Oh, okay.
I'll go
get white oak's beautiful.
Yeah,
you bet.
Ton of white oak and red oak.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So I'll use some oak. I'll come in with a little pecan. If I'm looking for a little more bitterness, I'm going to throw a little hickory in there.
Okay. All right.
So, again, the great thing about this hobby is the woods make it you. Yeah. That's the fun thing.
It's fun. I was at I think it was a Westlake Hardware on 135th, and they have mulberry and grape.
Absolutely.
And all of these crazy ass woods. Mm-hmm. And they have a little guide, what to use. I haven't really strayed too far, alder and, hickory. And I haven't gone crazy. I haven't tried, these crazy. I've heard grape. I don't know if you're using grapevines.
Well, my dad was grapevine's going to be more of a specialty type wood. Are you going to impart a lot of flavor? No. But mulberry's a great wood to use.
Is it? Okay.
Very prevalent in the area, as you can tell on your cars most of the time.
God, we used to eat the hell out of mulberries.
So do we. And it's right a little bit right around apple and peach. It's just
okay. Good.
I mean, it's just a good smoking wood.
Good.
It's a good dense wood. It's not going to burn up too quick. It's not like cottonwood, but it's a good wood to burn with.
People don't actually use cottonwood to smoke.
Oh, they use everything.
Are you kidding? Cottonwood of all things, dear God, I think it makes it toxic.
I hear people use walnut, and walnut is toxic, by the way.
I wouldn't. No.
Oh, I know.
Walnuts for coffee tables.
Yeah, pretty much. You better be selling walnut because it's expensive.
Right. Before we wrap things up, let me ask everybody where they can find you on the web. Where can they find you? How can they get in touch with you and all that stuff?
Well, first of all, you can always find me on Facebook. I'm Chris Marks Barbecue on Facebook.
Gotcha.
I do answer emails. I do talk a lot about barbecue.
Yeah.
Three Little Pigs website. Just all you need to do is go.
And real quick, Three Little Pigs, you're down there.
At Crown Center.
The Crown Center, yep.
It's the little franchise restaurant.
You just signed a new agreement with them. You're going to be around a while.
Yeah, I'm going to be around for a while.
Okay.
So it's a great little thing down there. Just a little franchise restaurant, and it works pretty well.
All right, let me ask you just before we go. Local barbecue. Give me a couple, your thoughts on a few places locally. Because I've tried a bunch of them. What?
Probably know right where I'm going to go with
this. Okay, right. What?
Huh?
So, of course, Three Little Pigs.
No. Well, we're more of a lunch crowd.
Gotcha.
We're not that full establishment. That's
gotcha.
What I want to look here. So impressed with Rob McGee at Q39.
Q39, I've heard it a million times. Yeah.
And I took the Japanese friends down there for the first time.
I heard it's amazing.
They were, and it's it's great, and it's consistent every time.
Good. What's their best thing? I heard brisket's really good.
The ribs were phenomenal.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I like the spares, and I'm not a big spare guy.
Okay.
But they were cooked absolutely perfect.
I went to, when I first moved here, Smoking Guns and had their burn ends, and I thought they were great. Sides, pretty good. Let me think. Woodhouse, I thought was pretty good.
Have you ever been to Slaps?
Not been to Slaps.
It's a good little place to go.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places here. When I lived in Kansas City, when I was right out of college, there was a place called Marty's in North City.
Yeah.
And they used to bring out on a garbage can lid a pile of white bread and then meat all around it. And it was ridiculous. It was so damn good.
Yeah.
It was so damn. That's where I've been preaching the gospel of Kansas City barbecue around the country since I left here in 1990.
Well, I grew up around the gates on 40 Highway.
Gotcha.
Of course, it burned down.
Yeah.
And it just opened the other day, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's back.
It's back already?
Yes.
Holy hell.
And
the meat is even smoked more than it normally is.
Yeah. Yeah, they had some stuff left over.
Yeah. Well, listen, Chris, I appreciate you coming in here today, and it is just an honor to have you here. And again, make sure to check out Chris again online if people want to find you. Just look Chris Marks Barbecue on Facebook.
Yep.
All right, and like I said, appreciate you coming in. And this video, if you get a chance to share it, by the way, share it on your website, share it on your Facebook page, on your Twitter feed. This will get big. We've been reaching anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000 people, and it's growing. It's only been around a week or so. It is a pleasure to know you, and it is a pleasure that you took the time to come by and eat my barbecue and my chicken chalupas. In the meantime, guys, have a glorious evening, and we will be back for another Carson's Table at another time again. Thank you, Chris Marks, and we'll be back later. Bye.